Hey everyone, today we're going to be talking about a very easy concept, positive and negative numbers on a number line. So we have two different types of number lines. We have the number line that is horizontal, so it goes across the horizon, so it's a straight across line, and then we have vertical, so the up and down line, vertical, up and down. Eventually we'll put these two together, but for today we're keeping them separate. So first I want you to just pause and take a moment, because again, I know that you're taking notes, not just watching my video, being an active learner, and I want you to think about these questions and just jot down some answers and then come back. Alright, let's see if we agree. So I said that both of these number lines begin with 0. The vertical number line, some of you might have said 10, but we always start with 0. That is our starting point. So we're starting with 0 and moving up. Here we're starting with 0 and moving to the right. So what does it end with on the opposite side? In this case, it ends with 10. Now we know because of the arrow it goes on and on and on and on forever, but for what we see, both end with 10. It doesn't matter if it's horizontal or vertical. So on the horizontal number line, the numbers increase as we're moving further to the right. And that's going to be key in this whole unit. The further to the right you are, the more increased it is, or the greater it is. And same with the vertical number line. The further you move above 0, or the further you move up, the more it is, or the greater it is. So what is on this other side of 0? I know that all of you know this already. In the olden days, a few years ago, people didn't know what was on the other side of 0 until they got to maybe 6th or 7th grade. But now you guys know. Over here, they're the negative numbers. So if you don't have something positive, you have negatives. So you're kind of ahead of the ball game by already knowing that. So this part, you're going to have to pause and do on your own. So you're going to create a number line using a compass and a ruler. The more you know about number lines, the easier it will be for you to use it. So first you're going to get a ruler and draw a straight line, putting a mark in the middle and labeling it 0. Then you're going to open up the compass to create the unit scale. So I wouldn't open it up very much, maybe this far apart. So like this would be your 0, and then this would be your 1. So what you're going to do is keep the compass at that width the entire time. So you're going to put the end of it at 0, and you're going to put a tiny little hash mark. So you're going to make a hash mark going through your straight line, and then you're going to number at 1. And then you're going to put the end at 1 and do the same thing. So you're going to, here's your straight line, and you're going to put a hash mark using the compass tip there, and that is going to be your 2. And you'll see that these distances are going to be the same because you are going to keep the compass open at the same width. And you'll just continue down that number line. And then after you do that, you're going to work in the other direction. So you know to the right it's going to be positive, but remember to the left it's going to be negative. So you're going to put your point back at 0, so that's the pointy part, and you're going to, without changing that width, put a hash mark on the other side. And if this is 1, this is going to be negative 1. And you'll keep doing that. You'll just move the compass down, make a mark, label, move the compass down, make a mark, and label. So you'll have a beautiful straight number line with equally spaced hash marks indicating the unit that you are using, and then number it. So do that on your own paper, obviously not on your iPad, and you can use this at any time during the unit as we're working through positive and negative numbers. Alright, so as we just talked about, on the other side of 0 are the opposite numbers. So opposite is an important word, and we're going to be talking about that in the days to come. So given a non-zero number, so something that isn't 0, A, on a number line, the opposite of A is labeled this. So it looks like we're used to seeing that as minus. We're used to seeing this symbol as minus, but it can also mean opposite. So the opposite of A. All right, so if we're talking about the number 2, the opposite of 2 is negative 2. And we have to remember that 0 is exactly between A and negative A. We also need to remember that the distance between 0 is equal to the distance between 0 and negative A. Or if, for example, we have 2, this is 2 units away, but the opposite of that is also 2 units away. So opposites are the same distance, but on opposite sides of 0. So this tells us that the set of whole numbers and their opposites, including 0, they're called integers. And you're going to be working a little bit with integers in this unit, and next year there's a big unit, one of the most important ones, where you're going to be doing more operations with integers. 0 is its own opposite. Because it is just 0 away from 0, it's its own opposite. Okay? The number line diagram shows integers listed in order from least to greatest. So here we could say negative 5 is less than 0, which is less than 2, which is less than 10. So the further you go to the right, the greater it is. And these symbols, and again we're going to be talking about this in days to come, this symbol right here means less than. If we reverse it, that means greater than. Alright, so what I would like you to do is pause. Let me see if I can erase this. I want you to pause, and I want you to place a negative A and an A. So just pick two opposites and name them A and the opposite of A. And then I want you to pick another two opposites and label them B and negative B. So remember, to be an opposite, they're the same distance but opposite sides of 0. And then come back and see how we've matched up. Try to guess what number I'm going to choose. Alright, I chose my A is 5. So the opposite of my A is 5 is a negative 5. So these are opposites. They're both 5 units away from 0. For B, I decided to have my B as 2. So the opposite is negative 2, so I labeled that B and the opposite of B. We could have used any. I even, and again I'm jumping ahead a little bit, I'll do C. I could have named this C, and the number that is on the opposite side of 0 from this number is 8. So negative 8 was 8 away from 0. 8 is 8 away from 0 on the opposite side, so I could have actually done this. But we'll be talking about that soon. Alright, so what we just talked about is that 0 is between the two opposites, directly, absolutely right in between. And the distance between 0 and A is equal to the distance between 0 and the opposite of A. Okay, so this is true with a vertical number line. Where did my vertical number line go? Alright, there it is. So here's my 0 right here. So I'm going to quick write in the rest of my numbers. Going up, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. And so going down, this is 1 unit below 0, 2 units below 0, 3 units below 0, and 4 units below 0. So now naming, I want you to pause and see if you can name opposites, labeling them A and the opposite of A, B, and the opposite of B. See if you can guess the same ones I am going to label. All right, you and I named the same ones. First I chose my A. I chose A to be 3. The opposite of 3 is negative 3 because 3 is 3 units above and negative 3 is 3 units below. So A and negative A, A and the opposite of A are opposites. For my B, I chose negative 1. So if my B is negative 1, the opposite of negative 1 is 1. So the opposite of B would be 1. So the whole idea I'm trying to get across to you is that this symbol sometimes means negative, but it also means opposite. So if B is negative 1, the opposite of that is a positive 1. And again, we'll talk more about that. So really, that's all there is to this part of the topic today, is just naming numbers and opposites using a vertical number line or a horizontal number line. So I hope this is a pretty easy Monday for you. All right, we out. Do your assignment. Let me know if you need help.